Hi everybody, and welcome back to another video. In this video today I'm going to show you how to work the Jacob's ladder pattern. This pattern is a really effective pattern. It can be used for different things, from blankets to cushion covers to even scarves, and you can also incorporate it into hats and other bits and pieces. So this is just a sample of the pattern, and if you look closely you can see that it's made up of treble stitches, double stitches, and also chain stitches. So there's nothing very difficult, nothing that I haven't covered before, and it's a very effective pattern. I've worked this sample with using 3 different colours. This is Aran weight yarn that I've used. Of course this can be used in with double knitting yarn, chunky yarn, whatever you have. You know, just make sure that if you're doing different colours, that the different colours are all of the same weight. Okay, so if you're all ready, grab your hook, grab your yarn, grab a cuppa, and let's get started. So now I'm going to start the Jacob's ladder pattern. I'm using Aran weight wool, and I'm using a 5mm hook. I don't know if you can see that 5mm hook, but it just depends on what yarn you're using. If you're using double knitting yarn, the chances are you'll use a 4mm or possibly a 4.5mm hook, and if you're using chunky, you're probably going to use maybe a 6mm or 7mm hook. So it just really depends on the yarn that you're going to use. But again, I'm going to use the yarn that I have used in the sample. So the Jacob's ladder, you chain multiples of 5. So I'm making a slip knot, and then I'm going to chain multiples of 5. So I'm going to chain 25. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to pause the video here now and make my chain of 25. So now I've made my chain of 25, and then I add on another 2 chain. So it's multiples of 5 plus 2 at the end. So in total here now I have 27 chain. So from here I'm going to work into the 4th chain from my loop here on my hook. So go back to my 4th chain. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and into my 4th chain I'm going to work a treble crochet stitch. Please remember, I use the UK terms all the time. So the treble is yarn around your hook, into your chain, yarn around and pull through. You have 3 loops on your chain, or 3 loops on your hook, yarn around again and pull through 2, yarn around again and pull through 2. And again you're going to work another treble into each chain all the way across the row. That's my 2nd treble worked. Again, yarn around into the next chain, yarn around and pull through, yarn around and pull through 2, yarn around and pull through 2, and continue all the way across your chain right down to the end. So now I have completed my row, and I have 25 treble crochet stitches all the way along my row. Okay, that's your first row done. Then you're going to chain 1, and you're going to turn your work over, and then you're going to work a double crochet stitch into each stitch across. So we're going to, the double crochet stitch is straight into the stitch below, grab your yarn and pull through, grab your yarn and pull through 2. Go to your next stitch. In underneath the 2 loops, don't forget you're catching your 2 loops. Grab your yarn and pull through, grab your yarn and pull through 2. And again to the next one. Grab your yarn and pull through, grab your yarn and pull through 2. And to the next stitch. Grab your yarn and pull through, grab your yarn and pull through 2. And you continue all the way over and you will have 25 stitches at the end. So I'm going to pause the video, but I'm not going to work the last stitch. So come back to me and I'll show you what we're going to do. I'm just going to work the last stitch. So it's into the stitch, grab your yarn and pull through. Okay, now I'm going to change my yarn, my colour here. So I'm not going to complete this stitch with the wine colour. I'm going to add in my new colour. So I'm going to cut off the wine. I'm going to add in the next colour. I'm literally just going to yarn around and finish off the double crochet from the previous row. Okay, I don't believe in knots. I will weave in my yarns when I'm finished this. Okay, so that's the second row completed, which is a row of double crochet stitches. So from there I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and I'm going to turn my work. Now that chain 3 is actually acting as your first treble crochet stitch on this row. So we're going to work another 4 treble crochet stitches. So again, yarn around into the next one. So this here is a treble crochet stitch. So we're going to work into the next treble crochet stitch. We're going to work into the next 3. Yeah. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3. 4 and 5. So it's chain of 3 and then work 1 treble crochet stitch into the next 4 stitches. So from here then you're going to chain 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You're going to slip stitch into the top of the treble crochet stitch below. So basically come back down and you're going to just, let me see, make it easy for you to see. So this is the top of our treble crochet stitch and we're going to slip stitch into there. So the slip stitch is just basically in underneath, grab your yarn and pull it through. And that gives us a lovely big loop. Okay, and this is what we're starting here. Okay, then you're going to do a treble crochet stitch into the next 5 stitches. So yarn around your hook into your next 5 stitches. So that's 1, yarn around your hook again, go to your next stitch, That's 2. That loop can get in the way, so just try and keep it out of your way. We'll go to the next one, is 3. Next one is 4. And 5. And again, you're going to chain 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. You go back down to the top of your treble crochet stitch below and just slip stitch into it. Pull the yarn through and pull the yarn through. That just pins down your loop. And again, you're going to treble crochet stitch into the next 5 stitches. 1, that's 2, that's 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and again we're going to repeat this again. Going to chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And again, back down to the top of your treble crochet stitch. I've twisted that, haven't I? Okay. In under, slip stitch, and pin it down. And again, another 5. So continue on until you get down to the last stitch. So when you finish that row, you will have something like this. So we have 5 trebles at the beginning here. We have a chain of 10, 5 trebles in between, chain of 10, 5 trebles, chain of 10, 5 trebles, chain of 10, and 5 trebles at the end. Okay, so now our next row is we're going to chain 1, and this row again is just turn our work, and we are just going to do double crochet stitches into each chain around, or into each treble below. So it's yarn in, grab your yarn and pull through, grab your yarn and pull through. Go to your next stitch, grab your yarn and pull through, grab your yarn and pull through. To your next stitch, grab your yarn and pull through, grab your yarn and pull through. I know this wool is not very good for making the stitches stand out, so when I get to the cream one you might be able to see it a little bit better, but you can feel your stitches as you're going along. So when you get to your chain, it's a bit fiddly, you need to keep it out of the way. Okay, so you're going to work double crochet stitches all the way across and just move your chain of 10 out of the way. Okay. So I'll pause the video again while you work this row. So I'm just working the last row, and again I'm going to change my yarn colour. So I have got down to my last stitch. I'm going to cut my yarn and I'm going to add in now the cream. And again, this is cream yarn that I'm using. Just finish off that last stitch with adding in the cream. Okay, and now again we're going to start off. We're going to chain 3 and we're going to turn our work. Just secure them. And I'm going to work a treble crochet stitch into the next 4 stitches. That's 1. The chain 3 again is acting as a first treble crochet stitch. That's 2. That's 3. And that's 4. Sorry, my yarn is running away with myself. So then we're going to work chain 10 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'm going to slip stitch into the top of the treble crochet stitch. So slip stitch, yarn pull through and pull through the loop on the hook, and that's just pinning down our loop. Okay, and then we're going to make another 5 treble crochet stitches into the next 5 double crochet stitches. That's 1, and around your hook. That's 2, that's 3, that's 4, and this is 5. And again, it's going to be a chain of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And back down to your treble crochet stitch, and you're going to slip stitch into the top of that. And yes, you've guessed it, you're going to do 5 more treble crochet stitches, chain of 10, and slip stitch into your last treble crochet stitch that you worked. And continue on until you get to the end of the row. So now on this row, again, you have your loops with your 5 treble crochet stitches in between your loops. Okay, so then we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. And this row is just our double crochet stitch row. And at the end of this row, we will be changing back to our wine colour. Okay, so chain 1, we're going to So we're going to do a double crochet stitch into each stitch across. So, oops, 1, 2, 3, 4. Push your loop out of the way, and you can see there's the top of the next double crochet or the next treble crochet stitch that you're going to go into. So we're doing double crochet stitches into each stitch in the row. Push your loop out of the way, then you can see your next stitch. Oops, he wants to keep on bouncing back up. So I'm going to pause the video now. Remember, you're going to change your yarn at the end of this row, so don't complete your double crochet stitch. When you have the 2 loops on your hook, then you're going to cut the cream and add in the wine or whatever color you're using. So now I have just finished my row here, and I have cut my cream and added in my wine color. Okay, so now you should have something that resembles this. Bit of a mess, I know, it looks very loopy, but this is what we are looking for. Okay, so my next row, again, I'm going to chain 3. Just going to pull that one a little bit tighter, and then I'm going to turn my work. And then I'm working a treble crochet stitch into the double crochet stitches below. So I'm going to work 4 treble crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. From here then I'm going to do my chain of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then I'm going to slip stitch into the top of my treble crochet stitch. Now I kind of do this at a slant. I'm not going from there in. So I kind of turn it on a slant and a slip stitch. And then I'm going to make 5 treble crochet stitches. 1, 2, that's 3, and that's 4, and 5. And from there I'm going to do my chain of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I'm going to slip stitch in underneath the last treble I made. For whatever reason it's refusing to go. There we go. And again we're going to do another 5 treble crochet stitches. Okay, continue in this way. 5 treble crochet stitches, you're going to do your chain of 10, 5 treble crochet stitches, chain of 10, 5 treble crochet stitches to the end. So again you're going to chain 1 and you're going to turn your work, and you're going to work a double crochet stitch into each stitch across the row, moving your loops out of the way so you can see the tops of your stitches. Okay, so we're going to go into the first one, go to the next one, go into the next one, so you're just going to go into the top of the treble crochet stitch there. And if you bend down your loops, you'll see the top of your next stitch here. I don't know if you can see it. You can see it here. Okay. Please, if I'm going too fast or if you don't understand what I'm saying, please leave your comments below and I'll try and explain it better. I'm open to all comments. So I'm going to pause the video now and you can finish off to the end of the row. So now I'm just going to leave the 2 loops on my hook over here for the time being. So now you should have something like this. Okay, so we have our loops from our multicolored yarn, then our loops from our cream yarn, and then our loops from our wine yarn. Okay, so you're going to make it to whatever size you want. This is just a sample here. Okay, so when you have it the length that you want, you stop. Okay, stop on a double crochet row. Okay, then you're going to plait, maybe is this, or loop each loop around itself, around the one in front. Okay, now you're going to basically just plait them. Okay, so you're going to start from the bottom, take the bottom one and the next one and push the bottom one over the next one, and again push the bottom one over the next one. Okay, very straightforward, nothing fancy to it at all. Okay, and the last one. There you can see the plaited effect of it. So yours obviously is going to be much longer than this. This is just the sample. Okay, and continue all the way up to the top of your work. Okay, when you get to the top of your work, okay, the next thing is you're going to do a row of trebles but without adding the chains. Okay, so I've left my 2 loops on my hook. I'm going to cut my yarn and I'm going to just add in the cream yarn. So I've added in my cream, so now I'm going to chain 3, 2 and 3. I'm going to turn my work, and this row now is just going to be a row of trebles without the loops. So into every double crochet stitch below, you're just going to work a treble crochet stitch. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video and you can work all your trebles across the row. So that's your row of trebles completed without working loops into it. Okay, so then you're going to chain 1, and this row is again we're going to be working double crochet stitches into each treble crochet stitch, but on the 5th treble. Okay, so on this one here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're going to catch our loop. Okay, so we're going to work a double crochet stitch into the first one, into the second, into the third, into the fourth. So into the 5th one, we're going to work under the loop and into the treble crochet stitch behind. We're going to yarn around and pull through, yarn around and pull through. And that pins down our last loop. Okay, go to the next stitch. We're going to work 1, 2, 3, 4, and into the 5th one. Pull up your chain, stick your hook through the middle of the chain and then into your treble crochet stitch behind. Yarn around and pull through the stitch and your loop, yarn around and pull through 2, and continue on. You're going to make 4 double crochet stitches, and into the 5th one you're going to go through the loop and the double crochet or the treble crochet stitch. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. This is my 5th one. Okay, he fell out. Okay, so into the center of the loop and then into the stitch behind. Yarn around and pull through, yarn around and pull through the 2, and continue like that until you get to the end of the row. So now you're finished that row, and you can see you have pinned down your loops. So the next row going back is just going to be a row of treble crochet stitches into each double crochet stitch below, which will finish off this sample. So I'm doing a chain of 3, turning the work, give myself more yarn, okay, so that's my first treble crochet stitch. So into the next one. So just a row of treble crochet stitches all the way across finishes off the pattern. And as I said before, it's very, very effective when you're doing it in different colours. You could do a lovely one for Christmas in green, white and red. Is it too early to be talking about Christmas? Sorry if it is. You could do a lovely one in orange and black, maybe a bit of white or cream thrown in for Halloween. So the colour options could be endless. You could do lovely pastel colours for a newborn baby. Just remember that the different weights of yarns, they need to be all the same weight or the same thickness. So be it double knitting yarn or Aran weight yarn or chunky weight yarn, just make sure that they are all the same. So just the last few stitches of the treble stitches to finish it all off. And as I talk about Halloween, somebody's just after letting some fireworks off outside. I don't know if you heard that or not. So I'm just going to cut my yarn and then pull it through my last loop. And there you have the Jacob's Ladder pattern. Of course, the worst part about this is having to weave in all of these ends. But definitely it's a pattern that I think, you know, a blanket on a bed would be absolutely fantastic in loads of different colours. It's very effective, and yet there's nothing very difficult to it. Okay, everybody, so now you have another pattern under your belt, as they say. That's the Jacob's Ladder. It is very effective. Again, you can use any multiple of colours in it, or indeed you can use with just one solid colour as well. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please, please, please hit that subscription button down below, and also the bell button, which will give you notifications of when I have new videos up. So until the next time, take care of yourselves. Cheers.